Listen. Short story long.
Welcome.
It could take your whole life.
Preach.
Develop clarity.
Second, patience.
If it scared you, you should probably do it.
Whatever you think you don't have, you have something else in its place.
Listen. Short story long.
Go, Woody, go.
Preach.
Listen.
Welcome.
Raissa.
It's mean. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is this good? Okay.
How's your stress level right now?
My stress level, honestly, is pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You have a busy week and busy weekend.
Super.
It is Coachella time.
We're here.
We are here.
I'm about to be in the thick of it. I feel like I'm in the thick of it already.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
I am.
So
yeah.
what are you doing? Like, you guys, you were telling me a little bit before we started recording, but you are doing pre-Coachella events all week.
Yes.
And that's like because all the influencers are in town. You want to
Yeah.
make sure you build up that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, festival. So Coachella, we internally refer to as Revolve Festival.
Mm-hmm.
So we just call it festival.
You took it over.
And we have, just hundreds of girls are here to attend, obviously, Coachella as well as Revolve Festival. And so we want to make sure we maximize their time. And there's not really much going on pre-Coachella. And so the last couple of years, we've just started planning events around it, which has been amazing.
Yeah.
So I just came from our first event, which was a brunch. And then we have something tonight. Then I go to sleep, and then I wake up and I go to another brunch. And then we have something again tomorrow.
Is that like at a club, like the night stuff?
No, thank God.
Okay.
So
I was going to say, if you're partying this week.
Oh my God. I also just came back from Vegas.
Yeah, you did. Because you guys are doing gosh, there's so much here. You guys are doing a room at the Palms?
Yeah, so Palms Casino is relaunching, or they actually just relaunched.
Mm-hmm.
And they hit us up like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And they were just like, we want to be part of what you guys are doing. This is kind of what we're up to. And it's always been kind of a dream to, have a hotel, right, concept. Yeah. I think that would be super cool. But they gave us this opportunity to basically take over the Real World suite from like back in the day.
Yeah.
And turn it into the Revolve suite. And so that's happening. We're opening a store there. And this past weekend, they opened like their huge, giant new club. Mm-hmm. And we were just out in full force. I mean, I was. I don't know about everybody else, but I was out there.
Amazing.
And so it was so fun.
So you went for that. You take a bunch of influencers with you?
Yes. So we took a bunch of girls, and they're like the best partners. They just make sure we're taken care of. And we saw so many people that perform. I mean, they have so many great like residencies, from Marshmello, Cardi B, which is amazing. Yeah. I'd never seen her live. I saw her and she just crushed it.
Yeah. My friend sent me a video of the line out front for that. And it was like nothing I've ever seen.
Me neither. So we came back from dinner. I hopped out of the car and I was just like, what the Cardi B fans were out.
Yeah.
And I was happy to see them in full effect. Yeah. But so we went, we partied. I came home on Sunday afternoon, and then we're just back at it
straight into Coachella. So Coachella for you guys. So for the listener, especially to understand, Coachella for you guys is like one of the biggest times of year.
Yeah, I mean, I would
shopping?
say for sure. I would say it's our biggest. We actually just had like our third best day ever yesterday, randomly.
Amazing.
I mean, not randomly. I mean, we knew kind of like this is like the lead up. But yeah, I mean, for years now, we really saw that our customer just was like super into festivals, and particularly Coachella. And I know it's been around for, close to 20 years now, I think. Yeah. But it's become this huge global event where our customer, the millennial female customer, really, really cares about it. Yeah. She cares about her outfit. She changes multiple times a day. And so seeing that opportunity, we just wanted to kind of put our flag down and make it our own kind of festival and make sure that our customers never forgot about it and really came to Revolve as their source of place to shop.
Yeah. Did you notice, like, did you first notice that happening organically and then
Yes.
you guys started getting behind it?
Totally.
Got it.
And also I think it just caters to all like the brands that we carry. You know, being an LA based brand, we carry a lot of brands that are just a little bit sexier, you know, super West Coast. And so I think when people associate Coachella, they think about Revolve, and this is really the place to shop.
Yeah.
And so when we saw that influx of people coming on the site, we knew that we really had to take advantage and seize the opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. So now how many years have you really been like doing activations at Coachella?
Solid. This will be like huge, like the scale that we're doing now. This will be our 4th year. And then prior to that, it was just like super like chill. You know, it was like we rented a house, we invited some influencers who happened to be our friends, and we would just all have fun.
Yeah.
And then it just gradually got bigger and bigger.
Got it. So let's say we're, 5 years in. This is the biggest week of your shopping for the whole year. What does it look like right now leading into the weekend? Like, what do you guys have planned? What are you gonna, like, there's a hotel that you rent out for influencers?
Yeah, so we will rent out a hotel. We rented out the V Hotel this year. It's in Palm Springs. There's 150 rooms, and so we just take it over. We call it Hotel Revolve, and we just put all of our influencers, artists are staying there, any celebrities that are coming out. So it's such a good time, and everyone goes out to the desert on Thursday. We have like a welcome dinner happening on Thursday, and then on Friday we're actually doing a live pod with group chat.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to be there.
I'm so excited.
And then we have a after hours on Friday night, starting at 11 with
At the hotel?
No, offsite at like the Merv Griffin Estate.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's going to be
that's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
So 2 Chainz will perform at night. Then we wake up the next day, and then it's like the first day of Revolve Festival during the day. And it's a party that goes off from 1 to 8, Saturday and Sunday. This year, we've increased the capacity. So the last couple of years has been around like 900 to 1,200.
Yeah.
Now we have 3,500,
Yeah.
which is going to be nuts.
And is that at a different location?
The same location, yeah.
As the
nighttime.
At the Merv Griffin thing.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay. So sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no, and then it just basically pops off. I mean, that's all I could tell you.
Yeah.
It's just like so fun. We have such great partners this year, and also a really good lineup.
Yeah.
Saturday we partnered up with TDE, so
Yeah.
they have all their artists coming through. SZA's headlining. We're doing merch with them, which is like super cool.
Yeah.
We're doing some stuff with Schoolboy Q, where you can, get his music on Revolve and merch, which I think is really awesome.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, it's just like back to back to back bangers with like Tyga, Ray Shremmerd, Rich the Kid. I mean, Offset. It just like keeps going.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, also Saturday night we have a all-nighter.
At the same place.
At the same place.
So Friday night all-nighter, Saturday night all-nighter, and then full days on Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, it's nuts.
How do you guys just plan all this stuff internally?
Yes. We do hire a production company that helps like build stuff, just because it's like.
But not like an event planning company or something.
No, yeah. So everything, that's the other thing that I think, like, for me, I'm always super proud when we plan these types of events, because the team was really built from the ground up.
Yeah.
I oversee all the brand marketing at Revolve, and so having had a kind of, I guess, a hand in like building this amazing group of young, super smart, super hardworking people is like one of the best things about my job.
Yeah.
And so we have an events team, obviously content, social, an influencer relations team, a sponsorship team. I mean, it's just wild. And there's probably like now 33 of us that just make all of this magic happen, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's so cool.
So what does it feel like right now on, we're recording this on Tuesday. This will come out on Wednesday. Do you feel prepared and like you're just going to go for it and like let's hope everything goes as planned? Do you feel stressed? Like what do you feel?
Well, first off, just my regular life, I always go for it.
Yeah, I know that.
So for sure for a festival, I'm definitely going for it.
Yeah.
But, it's funny because I think this is a really good feeling that have never really felt prior to this festival, is that I feel less stress. I think because the team is more senior, they're way more organized, they're dialed in. And so, I mean, we'll see how it goes on starting Thursday, but I do feel a sense of like just calmness, because I do feel like, you know, we've gotten a few rounds in and now we're just kind of just more in tune with what's going to happen.
Yeah. And then, so like, what's it look like as far as the business side? Like, do you guys come back into the office on Monday, like exhausted and like, well, how'd sales go? Like, how did it work?
Totally. So we give the team like Monday and Tuesday off, because they're working like nonstop, right?
Yep.
But I'll probably go to work on Tuesday. I'll come back on Monday from the desert. Tuesday I'm in, and it's just back to work, you know? And obviously like looking at sales is so important, but just even like, you know, the number of people that tagged us, our impressions, potential earned media value, those are all metrics that are important to us.
Yeah.
And just seeing like how many people are using the hashtag, of course, is always so cool to see.
Yeah.
New followers. We historically always get the most new followers on all of our accounts. Revolve, I mean, during that Coachella weekend. So it's always cool to see like if we're gonna beat it from like years past.
Yeah. Do you think you guys will ever just do your own festival?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
I mean, you're right.
I'm dropping
you're right
some
on the
nuggets
edge of
right
it
now.
anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you know, seeing what we can do and the people that we can bring out. It's really exciting to take this concept and see if it'll work elsewhere. And I think we're at that point where we feel really confident that it can.
Yeah.
And so many people ask us all the time, like, would you want to do it like in Vegas, you know, for example, which is actually the place that we're considering doing it, especially with Palms as a partner. I think it'll just be kind of like a easier setup.
Yeah.
Where we have, you know, a place to stay. They have like logistics dialed. So yes, we're looking into it. Great. For sure.
Okay. Well, I'll be there. And I'm just going to invite
hopefully
myself.
going for it.
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing too that I wanted to understand, like, especially for the people listening, is what's your title again at Revolve?
So I'm the Chief Brand Officer.
Okay.
And you know, when I say it out loud, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's a funny title, but
I hate
now
titles.
I know.
Yeah.
But you know, in short, I guess like my job is to just really make sure that people know about the brand.
Yeah.
So when I say no, it's really through everything that's forward facing. So whether that's events like Coachella, obviously influencers, press, whether it's old school like magazines, or working with celebrities, and then sponsorships and partnerships. Yeah. So just really getting the brand out there. And I guess just to even give you a lay of the land, Revolve Group, obviously we have revolve.com, which is, you know, we sell like men's, women's clothes, mostly women's. And then we have a sister website called Forward, which is like true luxury. Yep. So selling like, you know, YSL, etc. And then we just launched our third site called Super Down, which is slightly younger. Price point is slightly not as high as a Revolve or Forward. And then on top of that, we own and operate 22 brands. So whether it's like Lovers and Friends, which is like, you know, basically all women's brands, or like accessories, which we just launched a sunglasses brand called My. Yeah. So the team and I are responsible for, call it, you know, 26 different sub brands and companies. And that's
insane. And you're the chief brand officer. Was that right? Chief brand officer for everything.
Yes.
Because it sounds to me like with that type of
I'm important. You didn't know this? I'm joking. No way.
Raissa, I understand.
Dude, no way.
Stop yelling at me. You yelled at me before we started.
It's like a whole team. It's like it's the best.
So because the thing about your job, from what I see from knowing you and with that title, is like, it sounds like pretty much everything. Like you're involved in literally everything. Maybe you're not designing the clothes.
Yeah, not anymore. I mean, I used to, but I don't design the clothes whatsoever. But it's really thinking about, you know, the brand position for each one. Obviously, social media is so key to any brand now, influencer marketing. So really navigating through that world. And like I said, in short, just making sure that people know about it. And when they know about it, they like it, like literally, like they're liking our photos. And then, you know, and they become a customer. And that's the most important thing, right? Is that they are engaging with us, whether that's through social media and then obviously ultimately shopping with us.
Yeah. I feel stressed out just hearing all that. You know?
Don't.
I feel like I need a nap.
You know, I mean, you know, you do this too, and but it's so fun, and it's like I sometimes like think that, you know, when you say it out loud, it feels like such a mouthful, and it is, but I really do feel like I have like the best job ever.
Yeah, I do too, for you.
Yeah,
like
it's
meaning
so
when
fun.
I watch your life, when I watch what you guys do, I'm like, man, that's the best job ever. But I know how stressful it is. Okay, so this is one thing I wanted to ask too. Is like we've talked about this. I was trying to motivate you.
Yeah,
at a private dinner.
Man,
I was fresh off of Tony Robbins.
Yeah, he was, guys, he was like just going in with the Tony talk. I was like, all right, like I could see where you're going with this.
Yeah, so I was trying to life coach you at dinner one time, and I was trying to get you to start a podcast and really like, you know, put out content. The reason why is because not only do I just think it would be great, but the way that especially women react to you is insane. It's something that
That's
obviously
so nice.
It's true.
So basically, I'm a man repeller, but a woman getter.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like you're a man repeller.
I'm joking.
Because it sounds like everyone knows know where the fun's at.
Yeah,
but
seriously.
I like, because, you know, obviously I'm not the Revolve customer, right? So I respect what you guys do. We're friends. But I don't fully like get it because it's not for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
what I'm saying
totally.
is these girls that it is for look at you like you are, I don't even know, like you're freaking Mark Cuban or something. I don't know. Like
that's really nice. I super appreciate that.
It's amazing.
Such a huge compliment. Thank you.
It is very true. And so what I want to understand is, being that you're someone that so many people look up to, and I think you're a very good person to look up to.
Thanks.
I want to wrap my head around, because I don't know this about you, where this all came from, like how you got here. So,
oh man, all right.
So
how much time
that's
do we
what
have?
we do here on Short Story Long. So the first question is, where are you from? Where did you grow up? And like, what was childhood like? What did you do? You know, like kind of
everything. You just want to get in.
I want to know it all. This just turned into therapy real quick.
Which I love, by the way. Well, I was born in the Philippines. I moved to California, to actually Silver Lake, before it was like so cool. And it was actually like ghetto when I was 7 years old.
Do you remember Philippines at all?
For sure.
Really?
Yeah. I remember like my dad, he moved to America first. So I was with my mom, and I have two other sisters. I'm the middle child in the Philippines for like 2 years before we were able to move here and meet up with him. And I just remember being like told like, hey, your dad is moving to America so he can have a better job and he can provide for us, like very clear at an early age. Yeah. And I think that has always stuck with me, that my parents like made a huge sacrifice and like work and providing for your family is super important, and that things don't come easy. And that's, I think, has always been just with me. But yeah, so my funny enough, my mom comes from like a pretty like well-off family, but my dad is the complete opposite. And my dad chose to like come to America so that he could provide for us and not basically like be, you know, just cruising with
mama.
Yeah, totally. And before coming to America, my mom had never had a job ever. And so when we moved here, my dad was like, everyone's got to work, you know? And so again, at an early age, I saw that transition from my mom like having like maids around her to like coming to America, not knowing how to drive, having to take like the bus and finding a job. And those things.
I'm surprised your mom was down for it. Like that your mom didn't say like,
dude,
no,
I know. That's why. But that's why I feel like just seeing both my parents as immigrants and just like hardworking people, like they're just down, you
Yeah,
know, like
that's
they
amazing.
knew they had to like get it, you know,
Yeah.
like it's like they had no choice.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when I moved here, we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. So the 5 of us, and then my aunt lived with us, and then like another like aunt of an aunt. And we all just kind of like hung out and like lived with each other in this tiny Silver Lake apartment. And when I came here, I was actually on a tourist visa. And so we didn't have like papers. We weren't legal forever. Like I didn't become an American citizen until I was 24.
Wow.
And that's why to me, like, I like literally feel like I'm like living the American dream.
Yeah.
Because I was like I was an illegal alien. Like I couldn't like do anything.
And how does that work? Like, so pardon my ignorance here, but like, that means you're literally like here illegally.
Yes.
And so what does that mean you can't do? Like
Sure,
what's
okay.
that risk of being like
Well,
found?
now I think it's like so crazy, like
Yeah.
so crazy. But when I was growing up, it was like the biggest concerns my parents had was one, first and foremost, was college, because if I was gonna go to university, I would have to pay like a foreign fee, which is like significantly higher than if I like was an American citizen or had a green card. But just out of luck, after like years and years of trying to get our papers, I got my green card. I was approved for my green card my senior year. And so when I was applying for college, we were stoked because we didn't have to pay like, basically it was like triple the fees as if you're a foreigner going to school. So that, getting a driver's license, little thing, not little, obviously you couldn't vote. And you can't travel. Like if I left America ever, like I couldn't come back here.
Yeah.
And so forever I didn't travel until I got my my green card my senior year.
So at 16, you didn't get your driver's license. You had to wait.
Well, I actually got lucky because I don't know how my parents finagled this, but I had maybe like they were just like shady papers from Alvarado.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I did get my license.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it's these things I think has 1000% built me up to be this person that's just completely, first of all, in love with America.
Yeah.
Obviously, what's going on now for me is so hard to see because I am a child of being an immigrant, not just an immigrant, but like an illegal immigrant living here, and then like literally making my dreams come true.
Yeah.
So I'm so fortunate and I'm so grateful for everything, and seeing how my parents worked has instilled so much value in what I have to do for me and my family now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. To be honest, I didn't know that at all. I didn't know that you were born in the Philippines.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that. And that really, some of the hardest working people that I know have immigrant families. And there's something about like that mentality, or knowing that, being very aware at a young age that your parents sort of risked everything for opportunity, makes you like value opportunity so much more, I think.
For sure. And also I have like so many relatives that still live in the Philippines that are not well off. And so that could have been us, you know what I mean? And so for me to still have that connection and to still understand what that life could have possibly been makes me, again, incredibly grateful. And this is actually the first time I've ever talked about this.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually kind
this
of
is
cool
good.
to like say it even out loud because, especially again with all the issues happening now with immigration and just, I don't even want to get too political, but just it really to me is like so heartbreaking because, there's good that come out of it as well, because I'm literally a prime example of like, hey, you came here unfortunately illegally. I wasn't like escaping anything. We just wanted a better life. And then, now like I also help employ a ton of people on the flip side. So, again, not getting too political, but it's just it's sad.
Yeah, it really is. And I think it's good to have as many examples of that, I think, as possible, because it's so easy to, especially, I don't know, I guess I'm being judgy, but it seems like maybe middle America, or like people who don't meet a lot of
for sure
people from other countries, and they just think, oh, they're all bad. Everyone's sneaking in. Everyone's doing crime.
Yeah,
you know, and like
no,
that message
totally.
obviously gets circulated pretty heavily.
Of course.
And, you know, it's good to tell those stories. So I'm glad you did that. See,
Yeah.
this is what I wanted, right?
Yeah, totally. And I'm like dropping it here first, you guys.
I love
Short
that.
story long.
What do you remember? I'm just curious about this. Do you remember like what your thought of America was like when you were coming here? Like,
Oh
did it
my
just
God.
seem like, oh my God, we're going to America?
Okay, like my first, so I like landed, like I remember it so clearly. I landed like at night. The next morning we wake up and my dad's like, all right, we're going to the market and we're going to the bank. And like I go to the market with my parents and my sisters, and like, you know, like when they scan stuff, I was just like, what? This place has all these things I've never seen. And then we go to the ATM. They didn't have ATMs in the Philippines, and I just see money coming out, and I'm like, this is a land of opportunity. I was just like, this is nuts. Like I just was like blown away by everything. Everything felt so much bigger and cleaner and just like crazier.
Yeah.
And I immediately started school, and you know, school was a little bit like tough for me because I had like I spoke English, but I had an accent. And so like my first few days I'd come home crying because all the kids were like mean to me, obviously, because they were just like, I had an accent.
Even
and
in
so,
LA, kids like bully you for that?
yes. And I was just like, man, this sucks. And so my parents were like, all right, let's just like practice English, which now when I look back, I'm like, great, because I actually am not like very good at speaking Tagalog anymore. I can understand and I can still speak, but I'm not as fluent as I would like to be.
Yeah.
That's because I now only speak English to my parents. But yeah, and after just a couple of months of just obviously straight speaking English, like I think, you know, the kids kind of just got used to me, which was nice. And from there, it was kind of like I just focused on school. And we ended up moving to Sun Valley, which is like right next to North Hollywood. So I'm from the Valley. I'm like 818 till I die.
I got it.
My cell phone.
What age were you? Was that like 10?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. I was like 10 years
So
old.
you don't claim Silver Lake.
No.
You claim Valley.
Yeah, I'm Valley, man.
I get. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think I was
don't
actually
know.
like 9 when I moved, and yeah, like I was such we were latchkey kids. Both my parents worked. My dad was in pharmaceutical sales and was really good at it.
Yeah.
And then my mom worked in accounting, and they just, you know, worked all the time. And my older sister would always just take care of us like every single day.
Yeah. What were you into? Like, what did you try sports? Were you
No,
what
like-
did you do?
I know, man. I was like, I didn't do any sports. I was like that person that like just like was not into
Did you
it.
just love school? Were you just a school kid?
I was like such a school kid, but I was like super into like student body stuff.
What do you mean?
like-
like being like, I'm class president.
Totally.
It's me, Raissa.
I know. It's so
You were
embarrassing.
influencing at a very young age.
Yeah, totally. But when I was like in 5th grade, I moved to a magnet school called Sherman Oaks CES. And what was so interesting about this school is it was from 4th to 12th grade.
Jesus. All in
Yeah.
the same building?
All in the same building.
That seems like dangerous.
And then I started like meeting like my friends who I'm still friends with now. And I just became like a little bad girl in the sense of like I started meeting like gangster boyfriends and just
Really?
turned the corner.
What
but
the hell?
thankfully still always got good grades, which was amazing.
But you just loved the thugs.
I mean, I still do. I'm kidding.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
totally. And I just like, I had like the like Asian gangster boyfriends. It was so hilarious.
That's
I was like in a
incredible.
like crew. I had like a placa. My name was like Little Wishes.
A blocka?
A placa. It's like your name, you know, your tag name.
Oh, got it.
It's like, it's in Spanish, whatever. So it was just funny.
And what did you like? Does that mean like partying? And
Yeah, I like partied. I'd always sneak out. I'd always get picked up by my boyfriend. It was just like bad news. I'd always skip school. The first time I ever ditched school was when I was in 5th grade. And I like hopped the fence. I got on the RTD. For all the young people out there, the RTD was like the bus. That's what you used to call it.
Yeah.
And I went to Northridge Mall and just like cruised around. Like so
Sick.
stupid. And
That's
then
what the
and then
thugs
got
do.
caught.
Yeah. You got caught?
Totally.
Did your parents find out?
Yeah, but then I still like, it's so stupid, but then I still kept like being just so bad. And to the point where my parents pulled me out of that school, put me into another private school in Burbank, and then I got kicked out of that school.
For what?
For ditching. I skipped like so many days of school.
And what were you doing still? Were you just like going cruising the mall again?
Yeah. With like my Asian boyfriend. And he was just like this like funny gangster dude. And we were just all just like hang out and kick it all day. And it was just like bad news bears. But again, it was like so funny because the day I got kicked out of school, it was like the principal and like 2 nuns, and my mom had to come and like pick me up. And she, you know, they were like, you know, and Rice is gonna get like expelled from school, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, but, you know, funny enough, like I don't remember what my GPA was, but I had like some crazy GPA. Let's just say it was like a 3.9. And they were like, yeah, but she has like a 3.9. My mom looks over at me and she like gives me 2 thumbs up, and they were like, get out of here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because my mom was just like, how did you skip school and like still like do well? And I was like, Mom, it's called making sure it's pulled together. Like I'm getting it
So you've
done.
always been this way.
I guess so.
That's incredible.
And
I can't believe you were able to balance those 2 things.
I know, it was so strange. And then the only school at that point that would take me was like an all-girls school. So then I ended up going to an all-girls school from like 10th grade all the way to senior year, and just like did, you know, same thing. Like I was like class president. I was like so nerdy, but
Were you still a gangster?
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a crazy combination of people.
I was
types.
like, I mean, but that kind of like makes sense, right?
No, it doesn't, Raissa.
No?
You should not be able to skip school and be out cruising Westfield Mall with your homies and getting a 4.0 and be class president.
I know. I would like
That's
go to
impressive.
school. It was so funny. Like I would go to school, and like when I went to an all-girls school, your skirt had to be like a certain length.
Yeah.
And then right when the bell rang at 3 o'clock, I'd like hike up my skirt. My boyfriend with his like dropped Honda Civic would be waiting for me, and I would be like, let's go. And we would just like get out of there and like go to the mall. It was so funny.
Oh, that's so good. And what was your parents weren't like upset that you kept getting kicked out of school?
Of course they were upset. But it was funny because even though they were just like constantly disciplining me, they were like, man, it sucks because you're like a straight A student. Like, we don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
And I was always kind of like a self-starter in a way. Like, I'd always study on my own. I loved reading a lot when I was in ever since I was like young. And so it was always just like making sure that I didn't, because I guess maybe subconsciously I always knew like I can't like fuck up that bad because my parents were like doing all these things for me and my sisters. And so it was just making sure that I still stayed the course in some way.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a subconscious thing of like that, you know, again, being embedded in me that we moved here and like I'm so lucky to like live this life.
Yeah.
And so I ended up like I guess like just getting good grades. I was super into speech and debate also. And so that's kind of like what made me think that I wanted to be a lawyer. And just like I would go on like speech and debate like mini tours where I would go like around California and just like debate kids from other schools. But still always had like my thug boyfriend and just like paging him on the side, you know?
That's amazing. Did you have any like, what was your level of, it sounds like you were kind of ambitious. Like I think every person when they're in high school starts to form like maybe expectations or what they think their life could be. Some people set the bar really low, some set it really high. Like, do you feel like you thought I'm going to make some shit happen in my life? Or were you not undecided?
I think it was more like, I guess I was undecided, but again, it always came back to like me thinking about like our move and my parents and how hard they worked for us always. Like it was always like, and also they always like reminded me, you know, too, of like, hey, we're doing all of this for you. And so like get your shit together kind of thing. And so when you know, senior year, I ended up getting into obviously like college. I ended up going to UC Irvine, which is just in Orange County. I moved down there and was like super set on being a lawyer.
That's amazing.
I think it's because of the whole like speech and debate thing and being class president. I mean, come on.
I get it, but you were also a thug. You're going to go be a snitch?
Totally.
You're going to go work for the league?
I know. No, I was going to represent them. But yeah, and college for me was, you know, honestly like not that exciting. I don't know what it was in me, but I was hyper focused on getting done with school as quickly as possible. And I mean, I would still like party and stuff like that, but I was like, okay, I need to like get into law school. I need to get into law school like as quickly as possible. I'm not really about like being here for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And I just like, I studied, I did party a lot, but I, again, was just like focused on making sure that I did my shit, you know?
Yeah. This all makes sense now. This is why you're able to like go to Vegas and then come back and like plan a festival.
Dude, I've been working my whole life. I know.
You've been doing
That's
this.
why I like laugh at these like kids on my team, because I'm just like, man, I'm a pro partier.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
are.
I'm like, come on, like
Yeah.
don't mess with me. Like these shots, keep them coming.
It
like,
makes sense.
You know, but
you've been
like
practicing your whole life.
totally. But like, yeah, I mean, school, like college was just like I got in and out.
Yeah.
I was trying to get in and out of there. And my last year of college, I studied abroad to Italy.
What made you? Why?
Because I finished school in 3 years and a quarter.
Yep.
And I was like, what am I gonna do for like the next 2 quarters? And so I was like, fuck it. I should just study abroad and like live my life. Like might as well, you know? And so, and I knew it was kind of like, I didn't have to study that hard because I was kind of already done. And so I chose Italy. I've never been in Europe. I've never even really traveled because I couldn't.
Yeah.
And so it was finally like an opportunity for me to go. And so I lived in Italy for 4 months. And that's when I kind of like realized like, wait, I actually don't even really want to be a lawyer. Like, what am I thinking? And
What was it about the trip, do you think? Like, was it just opening your eyes to other stuff?
oh,
You were like,
for sure. Like seeing how the Europeans live.
yeah.
Man,
It's so interesting
the
how
Italians, dude, they're just like, you know,
Yeah.
they have siesta. I'm like, I couldn't believe too, like what you'd close the business from 2 to 5 o'clock. Like this is unheard of in America, you know? And so just seeing like that type of lifestyle and them enjoying it, I was like, wait, I really just want to be a lawyer so I can like make 6 figures and drive a 7 Series. I wasn't even really like passionate about it, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, telling my parents that, obviously they were devastated, but at the end of the day, they were just like, do whatever. Just know we're not paying for you anymore. Like after like college, like you got to figure out your shit.
Yeah.
And so after Italy, I traveled a little bit. I came back and I just knew I had to work.
And was your thing like, I don't want to be a lawyer, but I have no idea what I want to be?
For sure. No clue. But it was weird because when you're young, I don't know, maybe it's different now too I see it because now it's like all about like finding your passion, do something that you love, which of course, guys, if you're listening out there, you should, but I do think it takes some time, and sometimes you might not even find someone that you really, really like passionate about, but you like, and I think that's okay too.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure to like find the one.
Yeah.
You
It's so
know?
true. And I think so many people are like waiting and being sort of complacent because they're saying, well, I don't know my passion yet.
Totally.
So like I've just been kind of chilling.
Totally.
And it's like you find what you like by going out and doing a bunch of shit, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like or also like doing something for such a short amount of time, and maybe it's true, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm out. Like I don't like this. But sometimes it like takes a while to like figure it out, you know? And
I think what a lot of people like, I talk about this a lot, is like people like to be in a position where they're challenged and they're able to overcome challenges. And hopefully the people you're around are nice and you make a good living, and like that's all great. But it's like, it's not, I don't know. I feel like I might come off sounding a little wrong here, but like, you don't have to get hit by some magical unicorn with your passion, and you're gonna, like, I think that message gets sold a lot. And it's like,
totally, especially now. You know, I really think it's like I want to have a job where it's like I have like a lot of like free time and I can like work from home, and also like I want to be an influencer, and also I want to travel. It's like maybe, but you gotta like put in your time, man. You know what I mean? It's like for me, like that's really been like, you know, short story long, like my career is like, people obviously see what they see now on the gram, but it's like this has been like over a decade in the making of like grinding it out, making mistakes, like having weird jobs, and then failing, and then, you know, and then being here. You know, it's not like it. I think it's cool if you find it in a shorter amount of time, but I also believe like it takes time to get things right and where you want to be.
That's what I love about your story too, is it's not like you came out or went into college saying, I want to be a brand manager or a creative director. Or
First of all, these things didn't even exist when I was in
Yeah.
college,
Yeah.
you know? Instagram, social media, all these things didn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
And like, who would have ever thought? I didn't even, I mean, I think I kind of like made up my job title. You know, I don't even know.
Yeah.
These things like, it wasn't even here when I was in college. But yeah, I mean, after college, when I graduated, it was like, all right, just get a job. Because my parents were not supporting me anymore, rightfully so. And I got like a weird like sales job selling like a rental uniform. So it was like so weird. Like I would have to go to like mechanic shops, and like UPS was a client of mine. Anyway, you know, I think that experience, I worked there for like almost 3 years, really kind of made me realize what it could be as a potential business owner, because it was a commissions only job. And I had to like manage a territory.
Yeah.
I only had to come into the office once a week on Mondays. And after that, you were supposed to be out in the field. And so I think that experience of like, you had to sell something to make money was also a huge lesson for me at a, like, as a 21-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you enjoy, like, did you enjoy it? Was it miserable? It was miserable.
Well, at first I was like, this is the most chill job. Like, I don't even have to go to the office. I think in the beginning I liked it because I learned so much, and I actually realized that that all my years of speech and debate came in really handy as a salesperson.
Yeah.
Because I was able to like chat with people, do cold calls, and then like close deals.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
Yeah.
But during that time, because I just had a lot of time driving around, I started to like pop into a lot of vintage stores like all over the place. Yeah. And this is when like eBay kind of was like popping, and I just started buying so much like used stuff from thrift stores that I just personally had a shit ton of stuff that I decided to open my own eBay store.
Got it.
And that's kind of how I got into, you know, I guess you can call it fashion.
Yeah.
Was to just like putting stuff up on eBay. It was like my side hustle, you know?
Yeah.
And
Were you ever able to like pay bills with that or no?
Well, eventually, yeah. And that's how I decided to quit my job as a uniform sales lady and was like, you know what? I'm kind of going to go all in on this business. And what the business was I started to like remake a lot of the vintage stuff that I found because like the fit was weird. Yep. And so that stuff started selling significantly more than like the other stuff. Yep. And so I decided to create my own brand. And so the first brand that I had, I created in 2007, and it was called Bridget Catisse, which was my grandma's name. And it's so stupid. Now I laugh at it because two things. One, the spelling and the name of the brand was so hard. So for everyone out there who's trying to create a brand, like, I know it's hard with like trademarks and stuff, but it's just like, don't get too creative because people are not going to remember your brand name. Yep. Two, I was a little bit like ahead in a sense because I started marketing everything as like upcycling and like everything was good for the environment, but people weren't ready. There was like people weren't about the Erewhon life back then, you know. So it was just like a little ahead, but thankfully because of my brand, that's how I met Revolve.
Got it. And was it? Were you selling it on eBay? Where were you selling?
I was selling it on eBay.
That's amazing.
And then started selling it to boutiques and just kind of hustling it.
And you were paying your bills with that.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And also, I actually have to give a big shout out to my then boyfriend, my now husband, Damien, because, I mean, we didn't make much money at all, but he just believed in me so much and was just like, you know, whatever, like, we're short on, like, I'll just, like, I got you, you know, just, like, focus on, like, what you want and this is your dream, and, like, really wouldn't be here without him. And I'm not saying go find, like, a person to pay for your bills, but I think just finding
someone who supports you, though,
for sure.
like supports what you're doing.
Yeah, it's so important.
Did Damien used to be a gangster? Or did you clean up? Did you go to you found a good guy?
Yeah, I think he was kind of. It's funny because I actually met him when I was in college, and I met him at a club on Santa Monica and Fairfax.
So you can find love in the club.
Yes, totally. Usher, Lil Jon,
they were right.
Find love in the club. Yeah, and I went up to him.
You did?
Yeah, but again, is that shocking?
Not now. No, knowing you, it's not. But man.
Yeah, literally, I was like, dude, this guy's so fine. Like, I'm gonna go up to him, and I had like the worst line ever.
What'd you say?
Oh, dude, I was like, hey, do I know you from somewhere? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, well, hey, I'm Raissa. What's up? Nice to meet you. And he was just like, okay, whatever. But like, yeah, I mean,
that's amazing.
I met him when I was like 18. So we've been together forever.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I guess he is like for sure, hands down, my day one, always supported me and helped me. And like, I just, built the brand. That's how I met Revolve. They became a customer of mine, actually my biggest customer, because they started writing the brand. And that's how I met Michael Mente, who is the co-owner and co-founder of Revolve.
Yeah.
So weird, right?
I did not know any of that.
Here it is.
Here it is.
Yeah.
This is what we do this for, right?
Totally.
So well, I guess the next obvious question is like, how did you go
from there to here?
Yeah, like how did you go from selling them your brand to going and joining and working with them? And like, was it hard to like? Was there a moment of having to let go of your dream of being like a clothing?
Yeah.
Or was that not really a dream? Like, how did that all look?
So having the brand was, first of all, obviously didn't go to fashion school. I had no idea how to do anything.
Yep.
But I think that's like the beauty of things too, right? I think it's great to like have a lot of experience and obviously training, but when you don't, you just have to be innovative and kind of figure out your own way. And I had to figure out how to like make clothes, find my, a cutter, a manufacturer, like figure out production and all of these things. And it was so hard, but also I was like, wait, like this is cool because I'm like figuring it all out. Yeah. But like right around 2008, 2009, obviously the recession hit. And I like just legit ran out of money. Like I just had no more money. I was like, how do I like go on? And I actually pitched Michael and one of his really good friends to invest in my company. And they were like, nah, they're like, I don't know, man, it's tough out there right now. Yeah. But thankfully, instead of investing back into the brand that I had, Michael was like, why don't we start a whole new brand? And you don't have to invest any money, but you just have to do everything. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. Like, I was like, this is like, it was like winning a lotto ticket because, as cheesy as it sounds, like one door closed and another one open. Yeah. And so I immediately took him up on it. And we started a brand together called Lovers and Friends. And
that's how that started. Yeah. I'm so dumbfounded right now.
Yeah,
this is great.
Totally.
This is not how I thought the story. Well, I didn't think anything, but I thought like more you came in from like a business perspective.
No.
And, okay, so you start Lovers and Friends.
We start Lovers and Friends, and this was like end of 2009, beginning of 2010, and I basically designed, did all the manufacturing, and then started to reach out to bloggers because this is when blogging was like really big. And I was always a huge fan. I actually, another fun fact, also had my own blog back in the day.
What was it called?
Closet Obsession.
Okay. That's
pretty good, right?
Yep, that's not bad. I was hoping there was something I could make fun of you about, but that's pretty good.
Thank God. You can make fun of me for other things. But so I always kind of like had this this connection with like, quote unquote regular people posting their outfits, and having a blog. And so when we had Lovers and Friends, and when you're a small business owner, you don't have a ton of money at all. Your resources is like yourself, so I started just reaching out to them and saying like, hi, I'm Raissa. I have this brand called Lovers and Friends. Do you want to wear my stuff, Lovers and Friends? And I would just like ship them clothes. They would blog about it. And this is again, like not even before Instagram. Yeah. And just started building relationships that way. And we quickly saw that Lovers and Friends became like quickly a best-selling brand on Revolve. Yeah. And so we made another brand and another brand and another brand. Within a year and a half, 2 years, we had 4 brands. Wow. And then finally Revolve as an entity they were like, you know what you guys are doing is working, and we want to like just acquire Alliance Apparel, which was now the company that we had built. And so that's kind of what happened. And so they officially acquired Alliance Apparel, and then they were like, you should just stop designing and let's do all the stuff that you are doing. And that was another one of those moments in my life where I was like, I didn't even go to marketing school. I don't know how to do this shit. I was like, I have no idea, And with Michael and our other partner, Mitch, they were like, dude, you got this. Like, don't even worry, you know? And that's how I started to test all the little things that have now become, you know, big things and instrumental to the business, like doing those trips, or like the first Coachella house we had, we only had 2 influencers with us. And it was just me asking like Michael, like, hey, can we rent a house? I want to bring like Julie and Ami Song. And this was like back in the day, like 2013, you know? And just started like doing that from like the ground up.
Wow. That is great. I did not, that's not how I thought it went. So you guys, when you guys started Alliance Apparel, that was you and Michael kind of separate from, but it was selling on Revolve.
Totally. So it was me, Michael, Mitch, I don't know,
I know
he's our
Mitch,
other partner, and then another partner named Candace, who also worked at Revolve. And so all 4 of us, Candace and Michael, like really focused on Revolve as their day job, and then would like pop in at night and like help do stuff. But me and Mitch were the ones that were kind of like the soldiers on the ground, getting things like, you know, done while they obviously like had their day jobs, you know? And so we were all just grinding it out. We worked out of Michael's apartment in the Eastern building out in downtown. And that was like me and Mitch's office. And it was just him and I that worked.
That's
and then,
amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And did that traffic, like did they notice an overall lift from all the, if this makes sense, from all the traffic that you were getting from the bloggers, looking up the brands, that was bringing attention to Revolve? Is that like why influencers started becoming so important to Revolve, was from those early days of
I think so,
working
for
with
sure.
bloggers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 2 parts. Is one, like, you know, that for sure, and seeing that this is like the way that the customer was now consuming information was through influencers, and that's also how they were inspired. And then the second thing was just from a business standpoint. It's like, if they acquired these brand or Alliance Apparel, obviously their margins are just so much better, right? And so it kind of just was this perfect storm of great product, great marketing, and then this new way of consuming information. So, you know, all happening at the same time.
And how many brands did you say Revolve has now?
We have like, I think it's 22 or 23.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Which really all started from that original strategy.
Totally.
That's
and
crazy.
It's crazy. And now, you know, when, again, it was just me and Mitch that started, well, obviously, again, Candace and Michael, but just him and I on the daily. And now there's like, I think close to 200 people that work on that side of the business. Which is insane, from like, you know, obviously, you know, designers, you know, production, etc. It's every time I go to that office in downtown, I'm always like, you know, somewhat just like have to take a step back and just overwhelmed with just like, wow, I can't believe all these people work here. We have so many brands, you know, they're bringing out so many SKUs. It's insane, honestly.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever, like you mentioned it kind of, and I've felt this before, did you ever feel like, you know, I don't know, under prepared or not didn't have what was required to be in the job because of a lack of formal training? Like, did you ever?
Always.
Yeah. You still feel that way?
I still do sometimes, but I think, you know, I would say probably, obviously now more than ever, I feel like, okay, I'm here for a reason, I'm deserving of this. But for a long time, I was very like in my head about like, you know, am I good at this? Am I even doing the right things? You know, what are people thinking about me? And like what we're doing, is it even valuable? You know, this was like, again, 2013, 2012, when not anyone was even traveling, not everyone was working with influencers. And so I questioned myself a lot. But again, this goes back to having really good partners, whether that's a partner at home like Damien or really good partners like Michael, Mitch, and Candace, who are just like, dude, you got this. You know, this is like something that, you may not have gone to school for, but you get it and you understand the customer. And so I think having surrounding yourself with people who just are like your cheerleaders is so important. And then after a while, it was kind of like, wait, no, I do got this. Like, we're on a roll. Like, let's go. You know,
it's so good. That's why I have so much respect for what you guys have done, because like everyone who's paid attention to any business, anything, has known that influencers is like the future, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, you can't go anywhere without hearing the word influencer and
No, you
influencer
can't.
marketing, right?
Yeah.
But you guys got in on that strategy so early, and the
Yeah.
stuff that you did, there was no blueprint for how
No.
to do. Like who, yes, it sounds really fun to get a bunch of influencers and go on a crazy vacation. But when you're running a business and there's no proof that that works and it's
Yeah.
really expensive,
It's
really
really, yeah.
scary.
No, of course. But again, like, you know, this is why I think having like that entrepreneur startup mind, no matter how big the business gets, is
Yeah.
crucial. Because, you know, for instance, like when the idea came to me about doing these trips, you know, that are now called Revolve Around the World, I pitched it for like over a year to Michael. And I was just like, hey, I think we should do this thing where like we travel with girls and they just like take photos, because girls, when they go on vacation, they really care about their outfits. And even from like God knows when Kodak was alive, is like, that's when you went on a family vacation, those are the photos that your family printed and put up in your hallway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
So it's like that, taking photos, capturing those experiences is important, you know? And so after a while he was like, dude, just fucking do it. Like, get it done, you know?
Yeah.
And so actually, you know, our first few, how many trips, they were so budge. Like the budget was so low, and it was kind of like a test and go thing. And like after doing it a couple of times, we just like really saw that like everybody wanted to be a part of it. You know, from the influencers to our customers to the brands that we were selling. Content was amazing, because also the content was just so authentic and organic, that it just kind of like took off, you know? But again, when you don't have a lot of resources and a lot of budget, you have to like think outside the box, be creative. And then you also have to have like partners that are like down to try things, you know, and like kind of like take that risk.
Yeah. And how many trips have you done now?
Like over 45.
Jesus.
And they've just been like so
Bigger
crazy.
and bigger.
And so fun.
Yeah.
So fun. And people like laugh at me because they're like, are you sure you just didn't want to travel? I'm like, I'm sure subconsciously it was like in there of like, I want to travel while I work. But I never imagined it to be like this, you know, where it's like, it's like this strategy that works so well for us.
Yeah.
It's
That's what's
very
so amazing.
Yeah.
Is that it's like you're traveling the world. Sure, it's easy to, and we love to joke about it, how amazing it all looks on the gram. We know how much work and how, you know, risky it even is to start, like I said, and then to see that it pays off. Like you guys were really the first to do all of these things. And to scale from 2 influencers at a house to like
Hundreds.
Your own festival in Palm Springs
It's
with,
so cool.
you know, is insane.
I know.
And now it's at the point where like I'm guessing that if I looked at the calendar for your year, I would be like, oh my God, like this is literally like what I would do if I won the lottery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And that's like
insane.
something that, you know, I never take for granted. I can't, because it's just like too good, you know. How can I? Like, you're like, it's so much work, of course, and it's always you know, especially now because everyone is kind of doing it, staying ahead, being smart about what we're doing, where to take the brand next, obviously is always a challenge. But it's always important to like just pause and just be grateful for everything that's happening, you know. I mean, even being on this podcast, I'm like, I can't even believe I'm asked. No, seriously, I'm like, me? You want to know about my story?
This is just before you hop on the jet to go to...
Hey, man, I thought you were supposed to keep that a secret. Come on.
What? Okay, so you kind of alluded to it. What is next for the brand? What's next for? I mean, what do you do? Do you just next year you have your own festival and you're traveling to?
Yeah, I mean, it just keeps going, you know. And but what's fun now, and also a challenge, is like really thinking about all the opportunities and choosing, because at this point, right, there's so many things that we can do. We can do everything. In retrospect, you can, right? But it's like being choosy and being smart about what's next, because now everyone can see what you're doing, literally. it feels like it's more risky because the company and what we do is just bigger, you know. So trying things, of course, we always want to be ahead and try things, but it's just being like, okay, where do we really want to make our bets?
Yeah.
And it's okay too if not every bet works out, but it's like choosing the opportunities because so many things are coming at us, you know?
Yeah. That must be scary. You know, like I've even felt in our business is substantially smaller and our reach and Instagram following is substantially smaller than yours. But I've even felt like it's kind of a weird feeling when you can kind of do anything.
Yeah.
You know, like Coachella's coming up. Even for us, it's like, do we want to do anything? Well, what can you do? We can kind of do anything. We can't throw our own festival, but we can do anything.
Yeah, totally.
How do you want to approach it? But people are paying attention. And this is, if you misfire, you just wasted a lot of money. And you know what I mean? It's this weird feeling that I never really thought I would have.
For sure.
You know?
But that's what's also like such a great thing right now, right? When you have your own brand and your own business, is that you are 100% in control of that.
Yeah.
Of the choices that you make and the messaging and stuff like that. Like, you know, I think gone are the days, I mean, of course you can still, but like more than ever, like you don't really have to like hire an agency to do all these things. Like you have like people in-house that are creative. You yourself are creative. You can produce your own content. Like all of these things I think gives the brand so much opportunity to just put out their own message and do whatever they want, but also it can get tricky because you're like, fuck it, do I just do whatever I want? You know, but you have to also be careful and make sure that you're not getting too crazy and out of hand.
It's true. I agree. What's next for you? You're starting a podcast. I just want everyone listen, all of our listeners. I know a lot of your people you work with are listening.
Yeah.
I want everyone that knows Raissa or that follows her on social media to hold her accountable.
Yeah.
She needs to have a podcast.
Oh, man.
And we're going to make it happen. I mean, we're going to let you get through the festival craziness.
Yeah, totally.
And then we're going to set up, all you need is a couple of these microphones to start.
Totally.
We'll get you a pretty little sign.
I'm into it.
We'll put it over at the Revolve. I mean, what's... You know,
what's next? Yeah, I feel like it's again, taking that moment to like step back and seeing, you know, what's best for obviously for me and where we need to be investing our time, you know, and I do think like growing in other platforms, whether that's a podcast, you know, a TV show, whatever, of reaching new customers, expanding the brand, is going to be key and very important. But for me personally, it's work is such a huge part of my life, but also like being a mom now is a huge part of my life. Like I have a 1-year-old daughter and it's like so crazy. But it's also so cool because I get to kind of just like show her you know, how to do things now. It's so different being a woman and a female today. You are expected to be like a mom, work, and balance that. And I think, you know, when people ask me about like how I balance things, I just don't even know if I'm doing it. But like, all I know is, you know, it's important to like take care of yourself, whatever that means to you, whether that's, you know, making sure you have a podcast because that feels fulfilling, meditating, spending time with your loved ones, whatever. But for me now, that's like super important, is like taking care of myself because there's so many things to do. And sometimes you can get caught up with just like, you know, being super work focused or, you know, not working out or not being healthy or whatever it is. But this year for sure has been me like setting boundaries and just like feeling okay with saying no to things, which for I think my whole career I never felt comfortable saying no.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the gift and curse of that mentality. That same mentality that like cherishes opportunity and respects hard work has a hard time saying like, no thank you, I'm going to sit this one out.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard.
It's so hard because I also think before I was like, you know, had so much FOMO about everything. But maybe this is like a sign of me just aging and getting old where I'm like, no FOMO. I'm like, I'm good, you know? But yeah, that's been a focus for me in terms of like, you know, the what's next thing. It's just like take care of yourself, say no to certain things, and then think about, what is fulfilling, what's next. And I'm still kind of like sorting that out personally.
Yeah.
But for the brand, there's definitely so much happening, whether that's, the store opening at the Palms, obviously a potential Revolve festival outside of Coachella. We're also, launching 2 more brands this year.
Jesus.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Again, look at all these nuggets I'm dropping, man. This is like hot off the press.
This is why I wanted you right before Coachella when you were busy and you couldn't even, you just give me all the gems.
Yeah, all the gems.
Here's my 2 big enders.
Yes.
If we had a time machine and you could travel back in time to, I'm going to say, early high school Raissa. You're doing well in school, but you're just out thugging through the mall. You're just running shit in the valley. You got your tagger name. If you could just take a moment and kind of put your hand on your own shoulder and tell yourself anything, what would you say?
I would say slow down.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think I was constant. I still am, till this day, constantly in a rush.
Yeah.
Thinking about what's next all the time, wanted to get out of high school as quickly as possible, wanted to get out of college as quickly as possible, wanted to make money as quickly as possible. But it's just slow down a little bit. All the things will come to you, obviously, if you work hard at it and have some discipline. But I just have been in a rush my whole life, and I'm just learning this, you guys. Really, I'm just learning this the last year of just slow down a little bit, and don't think about so much. I mean, we have to, we have to always think about the future and what's next. Yeah. But I think I've done so much of it and not enough of pause, take a breath, take it all in, and just enjoy this for a little bit, because what's next is coming. Don't worry, don't worry. So that's what I would tell myself even yesterday.
Yeah, that's good. And then this is my new one. If you could prescribe anything to the world for 30 days, and they have to do it, it's just the way it works, what would you prescribe? What would you make everyone do?
I would make, oh man, this is a tough one. Well, for me, I need to, I've been saying this for 7 years, but I need to meditate more, but I would spend more time with the people that you love. And I don't do that enough, even with my parents, you know. I don't know I guess I have 2. I don't know if you could do it for 30 days, spending time with your parents, but I mean, just spending time and taking care of also the people that you love, whether that's giving them a phone call or texting them. I think a lot of times we're just on our phone, but on social media, or just texting our parents, which is, I don't know. I've started to think more about that lately, of I should just call them. Why am or drive and see them.
I do the same thing. Yeah.
This is
I text
silly.
every day, and I'm why do I need to call every now and then?
Totally, it's important. But the other thing that I really, really, really enjoy doing is taking care of myself, and that's exercising. I am all about being healthy and starting with yourself, because I think when you do take care of yourself, it's easier to get things done. And when I say done, it means having better relationships with your partners, obviously raising a child, being efficient at work. I joke about this. Obviously, I am no athlete, but I really want to take care of myself, because I have to be strong and efficient and dialed every day. I love sports a ton, and I think about LeBron's not going out and not taking care of himself and then getting out on the court. It's stupid. And so for me, it's get out there, exercise, or do something that you just feel like you're taking care of yourself. And for me, it's exercise.
There it is. Raissa, let's end with a giveaway.
Oh my God, yes!
How much can I give away? 500?
I mean, put it out there, man. Let's go 500.
500
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's give away 500 to a listener. How do you enter?
We didn't even talk about the logistics.
didn't.
I think you should.
Should we talk about it after and I'll put it in the intro?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say something like super easy, like maybe they DM
You got to follow
me and you.
Yeah.
And Revolve.
In Revolve.
And then that's it. And I don't know.
Follow all three of us and comment. I don't want to do too much. Follow. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I'll put it in the intro.
Yeah, but
for a couple of marketing experts,
you'd
think we'd be quicker, but it's
I
going
know.
to take us a minute.
It's going to take us a minute.
500.
For sure.
Can we do 500?
Yeah, let's do 500.
That's a lot.
And go on Revolve.com and just get your outfits because there's so much cute shit on there. We also have beauty. We got accessories. We got men's. We got women's. We got it all.
There we go. Raissa, that was incredible. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for sharing all of your never before shared moments. I know all the girls and everyone that just loves you and really looks up to you is going to really like this. I mean, this is, I look up to you. I love you. And I didn't know that your story was this. It's great.
Cool. Well,
Big fan
thank you
of everything you're doing.
guys so much. I really appreciate being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. See you at Coachella.
Guys, if you like that and you want to see more like it, as well as vlogs, other web series, and all the random stuff that I'm doing here on YouTube, don't forget to click that subscribe button. You won't regret it. I promise.